大家好，欢迎你回到 CHI 113的频道，我是高老师。今天我们要学第3课，时间对话2。Hey everybody, this is Gao 老师, and today we're going to begin studying Lesson 3, Dialogue 2, which is all about time, or in Chinese, 时间. And if you follow along with this video and do what it asks you to do, you will be able to accomplish the following learning goals. Number 1, you'll be able to understand and be able to pronounce using correct tones all of the assigned vocab words from Lesson 3, Dialogue 2. Number 2, you'll be able to read and fully comprehend on your own the first half of Lesson 3, Dialogue 2. Number 3, you should have a basic understanding of the dialogue's main grammar point, and there's one that we will focus on here in this video. And finally, you should be able to read and write all of the assigned characters from Lesson 3, Dialogue 2 before our next in-class quiz. 准备好了吗？好的，我们开始吧。It's good practice to review, or in Chinese, 复习, what you have previously studied. So let's take a moment here. Please say the following dates and times in Chinese. And you may want to pause the video here because I'm about to give away the answers. 第一, Monday, 3:45. 星期一3点3刻. 星期一3点3刻. For 3:45, you could also say 3点45分. 3点45分. 第二, Tuesday, March 19th, 2024. 2024年3月星期二. 2024年3月星期二. 第三呢, 4:30 on Friday, March 22nd. 3月星期五4点半. 3月星期五4点半. And again, you could also say 4:30 by saying 4点30. 4点30分. Let's begin preparing for the next class session by first listening to the audio of our new vocab words. As you hear the speaker say these words, please do try your best to mimic their pronunciation out loud.
Lesson 3, Dialogue 2, Vocabulary. 1.
现在
Now. 2.
课
Quarter of an hour. 3.
事儿
Matter. Affair. Event. 4.
今天
Today. 5.
很
Very. 6.
忙
Busy. 7.
明天
Tomorrow. 8.
晚饭
Dinner. Supper.
Please go back now and listen to this audio at least 2 to 3 more times, repeating out loud what you hear. Let's move on now and listen to the audio from Lesson 3, Dialogue 2. And if you'd like to follow along in your textbook, please turn to page 88.
Lesson 3, Dialogue 2, Inviting someone to dinner.
白英爱，现在几点
？5点3刻。
我6点一刻有事儿。
你今天很忙，明天忙不忙？
我今天很忙，可是明天不忙。有事儿吗？
明天我请你吃晚饭，怎么样？
Please go back and listen to this audio at least 2 more times just to make sure you can fully understand what both speakers are saying. For additional practice and learning the new vocab words from Lesson 3, Dialogue 2, don't forget to check out Quizlet. Just scan the QR code with your phone or click on the link in the description section below. So the main grammar point we want to focus on today is the affirmative negative pattern, which is another very common way of asking a question in Chinese. So far we've already learned one way to ask a question in Chinese. You can simply add the particle ma on the end. And actually, in Lesson 3, Dialogue 1, we learned another way to ask a question, and that was using 还是 A, 还是 B, to ask a whether or question. But in this dialogue, we're introduced to another common way of asking a question. And here, it's where the blue arrow is. So, 白英爱, she says, 你今天很忙，明天忙不忙? So this 忙不忙 is another common way to ask a question. It's the affirmative negative question pattern. And so as the slide says here, it's very similar to asking questions using ma. And it's oftentimes used with the verb or an adjective. And so you're going to want to first state the verb or the adjective in its positive form and then repeat the same verb or adjective in the negative form. And don't forget, if the verb is 有, that you negate 有 with 没有. Let's practice. So if the verb here is 是 and we want to ask a question using this verb 是, we would say 是不是? If the verb was 吃 and we wanted to ask an affirmative negative question, we would say 吃不吃? If the verb was 请 and we wanted to ask an affirmative negative question, we would say 请不请? What about if the verb was 认识? How would we ask an affirmative negative question? We could say 认识不认识, oftentimes used to ask if you know someone. So you could say 高老师你认识不认识? Do you know 高老师? What if the verb was 喜欢? Well, then we could say 喜欢不喜欢? Sometimes you'll actually hear people say 喜不喜欢. They're both okay. And if the verb is 有, how would we make an affirmative negative question? Would we say 有不有? No. You would have to say 有没有? 有没有? 你有没有哥哥? Right? Do you have an older brother? 有没有? So these are all common verbs that you can use to create an affirmative negative question. And here are some adjectives that we've studied that you can also use to create this type of question. So if the adjective is 好, we could say 好不好? Or if the adjective is 忙, as it is in the dialogue, we could say 忙不忙? 你今天忙不忙? Are you busy today? 高 is another adjective we've studied, meaning tall, and here we could say 高不高 to ask if somebody was tall. 好的，我们来练习. Let's practice. 中文怎么说? Is our teacher busy? 我们的老师忙不忙? 我们的老师忙不忙? So again, to form this affirmative negative question, all you do is first state the adjective in its positive form, its affirmative form, and then you state it in its negative form. 我们的老师忙不忙? 好的， 中文怎么说 Does Leo like 王鹏？李友喜欢不喜欢王鹏？李友喜欢不喜欢王鹏？ So again, we're first stating the verb in its affirmative form, followed by its negative form. And in order to state it in its negative form, you put the 不 in front of it. 中文怎么说 Is Leo an American? Leo 是不是美国人？李友是不是美国人？ So here we're stating the verb 是 to be, followed by its negative form 不是 to form an affirmative negative question. And notice how I'm pronouncing 不是. 不, traditionally pronounced fourth tone. Remember, it changes tones to the second tone when it's followed by a character that is also a fourth tone. So we would say 李友是不是美国人？好的，我们练习。Let's practice. Change the ma questions below into affirmative negative questions. You may want to pause the video here because I'm about to give away the answers. 第一，你是学生吗？你是不是学生？第二呢？你喜欢吃中国饭吗？你喜欢吃中国饭吗？你喜欢不喜欢吃中国饭？第三，你有他的照片吗？你有没有他的照片？ So here again, don't forget that when the verb is 有, it can only be negated by 没。好的，第四呢？王鹏是北京人吗？王鹏是不是北京人？ Let's look at this. 对不对？对不对？你忙不忙吗？ Can we say that? No. There's no need to add the particle ma on the end, because with the affirmative negative pattern, it's already asking a question. You would simply say 你忙不忙 to ask if somebody was busy. So for an additional explanation of this grammar point, please do reference your integrated Chinese textbook. It's on page 91. And now that you've got a basic understanding of the grammar points and feel comfortable pronouncing the assigned vocab words, and you can read the dialogue all by yourself, it's time to start practicing writing the characters for the next dictation quiz. Here's the first vocab word. 现在现在课课 meaning quarter of an hour. 是 meaning matter, affair, or event. 今天 meaning today. 很 meaning very. 忙 meaning busy. 明天 meaning tomorrow. 晚饭 meaning dinner. 晚 means evening and 饭 means meal, hence dinner. For those of you interested in learning more about Chinese culture while also improving your Chinese, you should check out this really handy website created by the company Fluent U that features a whole bunch of music videos with English and Chinese lyrics for some of the most popular Chinese songs. Please scan the QR code on your screen here or click on the link in description below. Enjoy the beautiful music. And finally, once you feel comfortable with the new vocab words, characters, and grammar points from the first part of Lesson 3, Dialogue 2, don't forget to take the Lesson 3, Dialogue 2, Part 1 pre-class practice quiz in Canvas before our next class session. 好的，下次见，再见。